Hello, friends. Dan, thanks for joining me. I have been absent quite a bit this week. I've been a little under the weather, nothing serious, just a nasty little flu bug that won't let go. And I'm doing something really, really crazy. Um, the Oil Painters of America is the biggest, in my opinion. That's the big boy club that I'd most like to be a signature member of. And I've gotten in two of their competitions so far. I need to get in a couple more before I can be a signature member. And the deadline is midnight tonight. Tonight, yes, to this day, tonight. And I've got company coming over it in a couple hours. Um, I started this painting in an art class I was teaching yesterday, and I wasn't even trying to do a good painting. It was just a demonstration, just pure demonstration. But I did part of this tree and so on. I have a photograph that we were going by. It's very roughly. I've taken out almost all the cabins and thrown in a body of water and all kinds of other things. Um, so you're here to watch. I'm going to try to do a painting. And boy, that's some nasty comments there. Make sure I can block that person if I can. And let me turn you around, partly so I can't see these awful comments. And I'm going to paint. Just crazy. But I'll tell you what I'll tell you what I'm doing. So anyway, started it yesterday, as I said, and wasn't even thinking of trying to make this deadline. Like I said, I've been half sick almost all week. And the deadline is midnight tonight. But then all of a sudden I thought, oh, what the heck? All I have to do is finish one little painting. This is 18 by 24. Take pictures of it, pay my $30 or whatever it is, and enter it. And who knows? You just never know. So anyway, here I am painting. If I get in, I'll let you know. If I don't get in, I'll let you know that too. It's one of those, the good thing about this is I think this is such a, what's the word? Cast off painting. It's like my heart and soul is not in this painting, cast off in that way, that I'm not going to be holding my breath, hoping, wishing, wanting that I'm going to get in. Does that make sense? So in a way, that's a really good position to be in, because it's like I don't have any skin in this game. It's like, I don't even, of course I'm not going to get in. I just did the painting in 2 hours on a Friday afternoon. So that's a good way to enter a competition where you don't feel like, where you're not holding your breath. Competitions, a necessary evil in the artist's life. But I will tell you, why I'm doing it artistically, what I'm doing and why. First of all, just in front of the class there yesterday, in the photograph, there's a shed right here, an old barn cabin, two of them in fact, and I've done this scene before. Some of you might recognize it, and I said, well, what would happen instead of a shed? How about if we put a body of water in there? So I just drew my brush across the canvas right there and created a little bit of an impression of water. So let me do a few other things before I move on then. One is I'm going to work on this hill in the distance just a little bit. Make it, in fact, a little bit lighter even than it is already. Is that the right color? Yeah, that'll do. I'm using extreme atmospheric perspective. In fact, I sort of feel like this style of painting, so there's not, other than this shed that's kind of hidden in the barn, hidden in the tree here, I'm not going to do any architecture. I almost feel like the worst part about this painting is that it's such a cliche. It's just so predictable. And in that regard, if any judge has any sense, I shouldn't win anything, because it's just too darn predictable. It's just like, but it's, on the other hand, if some judge really likes the quintessential landscape, then maybe they'll like this. Anyway, but talk about cliche. This whole thing is just a big cliche in my opinion. I'm doing extreme atmospheric perspective. Even that is, in a sense, a cliche. Even that's almost overdone, but I'm doing it anyway. And I'm going to come back and work on the tree a little bit more. And one of the main things I'm doing, by the way, this painting, the class that I was teaching yesterday, it was a class on oil painting. So there's no acrylic underpainting. As you know, if you know me, most of my paintings, the great majority of my paintings are acrylic underneath and oil on top. And this is one of the rare exceptions where there's no acrylic underneath, so it's just pure oil painting. Which is really neither here nor there. Doesn't matter. Okay, I gotta mix up. I don't have yellow ochre on my palette right now, and I wish I did, because it's exactly the color I want. So I'm just gonna have to invent something close to yellow ochre with Indian yellow, gold ochre transparent, which is, somebody made that, and white and oxide red. Anyways, I'm over here mixing colors, and you can't even see what I'm doing, so that's pretty bad. Pretty bad video production. I disappear. I completely disappear from the picture for 40 seconds at a time. And all you hear is a disembodied voice mumbling in the background. Colors over here. Anyway, I'm feeling like. Oh, by the way, I reserve the right to, if the painting doesn't go well, I reserve the right to not enter it in anything. I'm assuming you already know that. I'm only going to enter it in something if it really turns out okay. I've got this kind of buff color on my brush, playing around with a little grass. Okay, I was teaching a class yesterday, and I had a handout. I wonder if I should go get it. One of the first point that I made, this class, it was an oil painting class on brush strokes. Yes, sir, 5 hours on just how to make interesting marks, and what interesting marks are and how to make them. And I started out by trying to describe the difference between painting a picture and painting a painting. Okay, that was my topic. In fact, I'm going to disappear again. Don't go away. I'll be right back. I've got a handout right here. And let me show this to you. I'm assuming I've got a copy of it here. Oh, darn, if I don't, I really messed you up. Okay, I don't even have the handout. Okay, never mind. Okay, I will describe it to you. I will describe it to you. You can Google your own images, and I'll describe it. Again, boy, high quality production here. I had two, at the risk of getting sued or something, I suppose. I had two paintings on a handout, both from the 1950s, both from American artists who were very popular in the 1950s. One was a painting by Robert Wood called October Morn or October Evening or something like that. You can, if you want to look it up, I've given you plenty of information to find. You'll find it instantly if you just do Robert Wood artist and look up October, the word October, and his painting will come up. Okay, and then I found another painting by Edgar Payne, P-A-Y-N-E, father of the California School of Plein Air Painters. And the point I was making was trying to contrast these two paintings. And one of them, for its impact, it relied primarily on the picture. It was an idyllic, kind of nostalgic, almost melancholy scene of a little pond in the fall with old trees around it, gnarly old oak trees or something standing around this pond with dry grass, kind of like that right there. and Reflections in the Water. Okay, Robert Wood, October. The other painting was by Edgar Payne, and it was very similar. I can't tell you the name of it because I don't know the name of it, but it was a very similar scene. It was tall trees, didn't have a body of water, but it was very similar. And the point I was trying to make with my students was that until you, as an artist, until you get to the point that you realize your job, your responsibility, your task as an artist is not to paint pictures. I mispronounced the word on purpose. It's pictures, but I like to, I don't know, the ornery side of me comes out, and I mispronounce the word pictures. You need to get to the point where you realize that you're not painting pictures, you're painting paintings. And the subject matter in any painting is merely an excuse for showing off aspects of composition. Is the subject matter, in this case tree, barn, trail, blah, 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 is simply an excuse for highlighting paint, for showing line, shape, color, design, texture, values, and so forth. Does that make sense? Oh man, I'm going to make this really corny here. I'm going to put a fence post here. Oh my goodness. If anybody gave me an award for this painting, they should have their license revoked. I'm being kind of facetious, of course. I hope they will, but I doubt that they will. And the main reason is because I'm painting such a cliche. Oh my goodness. Just, complete with fence post, old fence, right? And road. I'm pulling all the strings. This is the Z formation that leads us into the trees in the right place. I'm not done with the tree yet, but all this stuff and all soft edges everywhere. It's almost like I'm doing a caricature of a landscape. But I am hearkening to my own advice, and that is that I'm not painting a picture, I'm painting paint. And there's a real important distinction there. Even though I'm painting a cliche. A cliche painted in paint. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that at the moment. Our job as artists is not to paint pictures, but to paint paintings. When you paint paintings, the elements of design themselves, the texture, the color, the values are paramount, are way more important than tree, barn, sky, hill, road. Does that make sense? I hope it does. If it doesn't make sense to you, you're probably not an artist yet. You're still just a hack, dabbler, wannabe. You won't be an artist until you understand you have to paint paintings, not pictures. Now, that's except for the people that do hyperrealism. They are definitely doing pictures. And that's another story altogether. I'm not even going to get into it. I'm not going to neither attack nor defend my friends who do hyperrealism at the moment. I'll save that for another day. It's almost impossible for a painting to have too many soft edges. Very easy for a painting to have too many hard edges. So I'm being very careful here to make sure that I have a minimum of hard edges on this painting. Again, forgive me, I'm painting a cliche here. If I like it, and if I finish it in the next hour or so, and I like it, I do have the nerve to enter it into a competition, even though in a way, I think it's, I don't know what the word is. well, some people would call it kitsch, right? It's the Greenspan would call it kitsch, but I'm not. I'll talk about Greenspan some other day. Greenberg, not Greenspan, Greenberg. Anyway, some of you don't know what I'm talking about. That's perfectly fine. Art critic, 20th century kitsch, Greenberg. That's giving you plenty of information to figure out. Okay, I don't like that green, but I like scratching, so I'll do that. I wonder if I can get something loaded up on this brush so I can do just a stroke of grass. Yeah, that's a Bob Ross trick right there. That load up the brush and do that to make that grass. And Bob Ross tricks are all legal. You just have to be careful you don't do too many of them. Everybody should know all of Bob Ross's brush tricks. Every artist should be very versant or conversant in all of his tricks. That's how he did a painting in 25 minutes, is because it was all brush tricks. He was not, he might have been a good artist, I don't know, but he never did good paintings on TV. I just lost a whole bunch of friends there. But it was a great TV show, don't get me wrong. I like watching him to this day. He's fun to watch. But he's fun to watch because he does all these brush tricks. And again, every artist should know them all and use them. I would say the way I just did. Use them in a very limited manner. I've got some palette knife here. That's Bob Ross tricks, and a stroke right there. That is also, may I say, Bob Ross-ish. I am spending a lot of time looking at paint here. Okay, need more ultramarine on my palette. I'm going to do a little bit to this tree, a little bit more on this tree, a little bit on this shed. Yeah, do I want to do another fence post right here? Too late now. Evidently I do. I don't like that now. Still don't like that. But I'll work with it till it looks good. How about if I make it taller and violate that body of water back there. And then, how about more cliche, while I'm at it, a little bit of barbed wire coming up to the fence here. I should lose my license for this kind of cliche work. You know what I mean by that, right? And again, at the moment, I don't think this painting is going to be good enough to even enter almost as a joke. But we'll see. I'm going to let you go. I'm going to work for a while. I'll bring you back in just a little while. Thanks for watching.